Hi Katrina.
Hello, Amanda.
So we're here in Sydney.
We are a wet, rainy Sydney.
Yeah. So what's it like being vegan in Sydney?
It's actually really good being vegan in Sydney. Things have changed quite a lot since the time that I moved here. So I'm originally from the UK, and my partner Tracy and I moved here in 2001 from the UK. And initially when I got here I thought, oh, there's not that many vegan options, but over the years that's definitely changed. There's a lot more vegan restaurants. We've actually got a vegan grocery store, the Cruelty Free Shop, which is really exciting. So yeah, it's fantastic. We've also got some really good raw places as well to eat, which is great. There's places near Bondi Junction that are just absolutely delicious. So it's really exciting. We're seeing actually more and more vegan businesses starting up in Australia, and that includes Sydney as well.
So why do you think there's so many like vegan businesses and like so many vegans like increasing in Sydney?
Well, I think it's because we're in a global marketplace now, so you know that we're starting to follow the trends of the US and the UK in a positive way, because sometimes you know we follow trends that are not great from those countries, but this is one that really is good. So I think people are now, you know, they're going online and they're seeing what's available in other countries, and they're saying, well, we need something like that here in Sydney. So the exciting thing is that you know people are starting up their own businesses. I think Australia in particular, it's very much made up of a lot of small businesses, which you know gives opportunity for people to have a go and start up their businesses. So I actually wrote a book called Vegan Ventures: Start and Grow an Ethical Business, because I wanted to give people practical tools and inspiration of how they can start their own business and be successful, because that's what we want. I mean, that's what I want. My mission is vegan world domination, one business at a time, because the more vegan businesses we've got, the easier you make it for people to give up animal products, then the easier it is for them to turn vegan, because they don't have the excuse of, oh well, it's too hard, I don't know where to get these special items. If you make it really easy for them and make them realise that they don't have to give up their taste, you know, any kind of food can be veganised and be as lush and delicious as animal-based foods. Same with clothes and skincare, it can still be stylish and fabulous. So I think vegan businesses are a form of animal rights activism, and they play a really, really important part in creating a vegan world and helping the animals as well as people and the planet.
So you mentioned your book.
I did. I'll show it. There
Yay!
we go.
Brand new.
It is very newly launched. Yes.
Yeah. So what inspired you to write your book?
Well, as I say, I think that vegan business owners are animal rights activists, or they may be health or environmental activists, but I think because we rely on businesses to give us our services and our goods, then we have to make it easy for people to be able to buy vegan products and services. And I thought, well, I want to know how to run a vegan run business. I have run in conjunction with my partner Tracy. When we first came to Australia, we did actually run a vegan business. We had Sydney's first vegan hair and beauty salon.
Oh, cool.
And I thought, well, I want to know what other people's secrets of success are. So I looked to see if there were any books on the subject, and nobody had written it yet. I was a bit surprised, because I thought, you know, there would be something on it already. So I thought that was a sign from the universe that I needed to write this book. So what I did was I interviewed 65 owners of vegan run businesses in the US, Canada, Australia and the UK, and then I've weaved their insights throughout the book. So it covers everything from how to start a business, PR, marketing, branding, social media marketing, the whole works. So even though I've put the book together, it's very much a collaborative effort, and I'm really excited about, you know, sharing everybody's perspectives, because everybody's got different perspectives on their business, but you know, they talk about what their challenges were, how they overcame them. They've been very, very generous in sharing their strategies for success. When I first started the book, I thought, oh, what if no one wants to talk to me? You know, what if they don't want, you know, more competition kind of thing? But they weren't. They were just like, fantastic. You know, we're all on this same mission. We want to promote veganism, create a vegan world. So they were actually really excited about there being more vegan businesses in the world. So everyone I spoke to was really happy to share their extensive expertise. And I really hope that the book will inspire right people, as well as giving them the practical tools as well, so they know what they're letting themselves in for. So it's not all fluff, you know, because running a business, it is hard work. You've got to be very dedicated and have commitment. So it's a practical and an inspirational guide to start and grow a vegan run business.
Was it easy to start a vegan business? Could anyone do it?
Well, when you say anyone, I think it depends. There are certain qualities that you need to have. As I mentioned, you've got to be committed, you've got to have the right mindset, you've got to get over money issues, because if you're going to run a business, you need to be in profit, because if you're not, then it's just an expensive hobby. So I think there's a bit of a mindset shift around that I think a lot of people, particularly if they're coming from activist backgrounds, need to work on. Communication and relationship skills, that's really important. Relationships with your staff and your customers. You've got to be prepared to work very hard. There can be different kinds of vegan businesses. I mean, a lot of people think, oh, vegan business, it's food. It's not all about food. It's not even all about having a physical space to run your business in. You know, you can start up a business that's online. So what I really liked when I started doing research for the book, that there's this huge diverse range of vegan businesses, and you know, they can be anything. I mean, one of my interviewees, who I interviewed in the UK, runs a humane wildlife like pest control business, although they don't use the term pest because it's negative, but that's like a really, really unique business. So I think we're really seeing now all these new businesses coming on board and becoming very niche. So some of the people that I've spoken to during the launches in London, New York and Melbourne, as well as Sydney, people are saying, oh, I want to start something that focuses on Greek vegan food or Lebanese vegan food. So we're starting to get really, really extra niche within veganism, and I think that's really, really exciting. So when you say, can anyone do it, I think anyone with the commitment and who's prepared to, you know, to put in the work to make it a success, then yes.
Do you have like any quick tips for people who want to set up a business?
Do your market research is one of the key things. So, because nowadays you're no longer the vegan cheese or the vegan mayonnaise. You're actually in quote competition with other vegan products. So I think you need to ask yourself, you know, is there really a need for this vegan product or service? So do your market research, find out if there's a market for it. If you were planning to, say, open a physical store, maybe you want to try a market store first to begin with. Don't necessarily jump straight from your, you know, quit your full-time job and launch straight into something. You can always start it part-time in the evenings and the weekends, see how it is, build it up slowly. So they'd probably be my key things. Do your market research, and unless you've got a lot of capital behind you, if you're someone who's already very, very business and entrepreneurial minded and you've got investors and a ton of capital behind you, then you might want to go straight into it, which one of my interviewees in the book did. Veggie Grill in the US, they knew from the beginning they wanted a chain. So they did that. But if you're, you know, one person and, you know, you're thinking about, you maybe want to start a business, think about, you know, what are you passionate about? What are you going to be happy about selling every single day? Because sometimes when you've got a passion for something and then you turn it into a business, it can put you off the thing that you love. So recently in Melbourne, I spoke to a woman who said she had a full-time, you know, corporate job, paid well and everything, and she said, I love cooking, I love baking, and maybe I'll open a bakery one day. And maybe she will, but the thing is, if you like baking and cooking, you know, you might just want to keep that as a hobby, or you might want to go and work for another business where you can do the baking, because running a business is actually very different from doing the hands-on stuff itself. So I think read the book, that's obviously a big tip, not just, you know, because I've put it together, but just because you'll learn a lot from the existing vegan business owners and entrepreneurs.
So why did you go vegan?
Well, I went vegetarian when I was 11 after I found out that the beef burger that my mum was serving me actually came from a cow, and then I realised that the fish fingers were from fish and chicken was an actual chicken. So I was vegetarian without even knowing the word from a very young age. But even though I'd started to do some animal rights activism in the late 80s, somehow no one told me about veganism. And it wasn't until 1996 when I was on an animal rights demonstration, and a lovely school teacher called Kay told me about the dairy industry when I pulled out my cheese and Marmite sandwich and offered her one, and she said, "Oh, I'm vegan." And I said, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "The cheese is vegetarian." And then she explained about the cruelty in the dairy industry and the egg industry, and I got myself an animal-free shopper from the Vegan Society in the UK, and I was actually in shock at how much we exploit animals and use their body parts in, you know, bizarre things like matches and all this kind of stuff. And it was a real shock, and I thought, how could I not have known this? So I pretty much went vegan. I was one of those people that when confronted with the truth, I pretty much did go vegan overnight.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
haven't looked back since.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for people that want to go vegan?
Well, I think nowadays it is a lot easier. I would say do some research. You can now go online and do a lot of research, particularly around your food, because you know, you obviously want to eat healthy, which doesn't mean you can't have treats and stuff, but like for the first year I went vegan, I was a junk food vegan, which wasn't that helpful. So make sure you go online to do the research around the nutrients, you know, find out what you need to eat more of, and that kind of thing. Join groups. There will bound to be groups in your area. Go on Meetup or Facebook, find out where the vegans are hanging out in your area, because you'll get so much support, and particularly if your non-vegan friends and family give you a hard time, which can happen, it's really nice to know that you've got like a vegan support group that you can go to who just get it and get where you're coming from.
That's great. Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome. Thanks.